Hey, Commanders fans. Today we have some hot news that you simply can't miss, so stay tuned. First of all, take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel and be part of this incredible community that grows every day. Don't forget to activate the bell to ensure that you are the first to receive all the news, and of course, leave that like that strengthens and motivates us to continue bringing you the best content about our Commanders. Now, without further ado, let's get straight to today's news. Commanders GM Adam Peters gets well-deserved recognition for phenomenal impact. The Washington Commanders have found the right guy to lead their exciting new era. Now, General Manager Adam Peters is getting some well-deserved recognition for his exceptional efforts. This franchise looks almost unrecognizable thanks to Peters' drastic rebuild. He was eager to take on this exciting project, even though he knew the size of the task ahead. The former San Francisco 49ers front office executive was given carte blanche by Josh Harris's ownership group to do whatever it took. The results were dramatic. Peters completely overhauled the front office, moving with a purpose and professionalism that had been sorely lacking before. He hired the right head coach in Dan Quinn, a respected leader of men who was exactly what the Commanders needed during this important transition. The Washington roster received a much-needed overhaul. Peters has been relentless, removing some high-profile draft picks who weren't up to par and replacing them with the right mix of youth and experience. He's taken advantage of opportunities when they come, which was no more evident than before the trade deadline with cornerback Marshawn Lattimore. After extensive evaluations and keeping his cards close to his chest, Peters has also found a franchise quarterback at number 2 overall in the 2024 NFL Draft. Jayden Daniels has been nothing short of phenomenal in year one of his pro career. He's already among the league's elite closers. Once the supporting cast improves, there's no telling what the signal caller will accomplish. Making the playoffs and securing 12 wins represents a tremendous accomplishment. That fairy tale could continue for longer, depending on how Washington fares against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC Wild Card round. But regardless of the outcome, the Commanders are a modern team and an attractive destination once again. Commanders GM Adam Peters named Pro Football Talk Executive of the Year. Peters' reputation has blossomed in recent years. It's been catapulted into a completely different stratosphere after a year that was beyond fans' wildest dreams before. That was recognized by Pro Football Talk, which named Peters its NFL Executive of the Year. Well-deserved praise for one of the most important hires in recent memory for the organization. 2 years ago, the Commanders were one of the most dysfunctional organizations in football. Now they're in the midst of a stunning resurgence. One of the people most responsible for that is GM Adam Peters. And then he's the 2024 NFL PFT Executive of the Year. Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk. Peters is all about living in the moment. When he takes a moment to reflect on his first year on the job, he can look back with a huge sense of pride. He came into the franchise with bold ambitions and a strategic plan. There were no rash moves. Everything has been done methodically with the big picture in mind. Peters is always thinking 2 steps ahead. He's doing things the right way, building through the draft, and putting the Commanders on a more solid footing. There's a long way to go and a lot of hard work ahead, but one can't be anything but excited about the future. The best part? It's just the beginning. Commanders named ready to trade Big Swing for Pro Bowler. The Washington Commanders took a risk by selecting quarterback Jayden Daniels 2nd overall in the 2024 NFL Draft, and a similarly big move could net them 4-time Pro Bowl defensive end Maxx Crosby in a trade. It's an idea floated by Tyler Brook of the 33rd team. He put together a list of 3 teams that could trade for the Las Vegas Raiders star, and Brook believes that a great quarterback on a rookie deal should make the Commanders feel like their Super Bowl window is already open. A move for Crosby could make them one of the most exciting teams in the NFC. Daniels' cost-effective contract is a major reason Brook sees the Commanders as a natural fit for Crosby. History supports Brook's argument because the last 6 Super Bowls have featured a quarterback on a rookie deal, showing the flexibility it gives a franchise to go out and make win-now moves. Making such moves is within reach for the Commanders, who still have $99 million in salary cap space this offseason and have enough draft capital, mostly in 2026, to make a big bet on a player like Crosby. Planning a trade is also feasible after Crosby said, "We'll see," when discussing his future with the Raiders on an episode of the Rush podcast. Hat tip Tashin Reed of The Athletic. A big move is worth the risk and the money because the Commanders need a player like Crosby. Someone who can transform their defense the way Daniels did for their offense. Maxx Crosby would transform the Commanders' defense. The Commanders are in the playoffs because of Daniels and despite a suspect defense. Washington's D's ranked 18th in points allowed, according to Pro Football Reference, while also allowing 4.8 yards per carry. Crosby would be a difference maker on the ground, despite his reputation as one of the NFL's best pass rushers. The 27-year-old recorded 13.5 run stuffs during a difficult season with the Raiders, according to ESPN. His ability to get into the backfield is summed up by the fact that Crosby followed only Pittsburgh Steelers All-Pro TJ Watt in consecutive games with multiple tackles for loss, according to KTNV's Nick Walters. Adding Crosby to the line would give the Commanders a true edge setter and force the player up front. Ultimately, though, his greatest value would come from rushing the passer. Crosby has 59.5 career sacks to his credit, thanks to a variety of pass rush moves. He can win with brute strength, fierce hand technique, quick takeoff, and a natural curve. The two-time second-team All-Pro showed quick hands and impressive agility to get this sack against the Denver Broncos in Week 5, highlighted by put-on Raiders Ryan Holmes. Adding Crosby to the lineup would give the Commanders a complete defensive end. Someone who can take advantage of the attention being paid to defensive tackles Jonathan Allen, Darren Payne, and Johnny Newton. Crosby would make everyone around him better, and that's worth a big trade, especially since the Commanders have already made a similar move in the secondary. The Commanders aren't shy about trading for standout defensive help. Commanders general manager Adam Peters was bold and decisive when he acquired cornerback Marshawn Lattimore midseason. The four-time Pro Bowler cost him third, fourth, and sixth-round picks in the 2025 NFL Draft. It was a steep price to pay, and nagging injuries made the deal seem like a big deal. However, the Commanders are ultimately counting on Lattimore to shut down the league's best receivers. They could have a similar expectation for Crosby. That is, for him to be the game-destroying disruptor across the front seven, he needs special plans to stop him.